You know, I once told the story a while back of a guy I worked with. I actually still do, so maybe I should be a little careful here, huh? Great guy. I mean, a really great guy. Hysterical. He's a total cut-up, total flirt with the women here, by the way. Total goof-off, too. And a lot of us who are very close to him know it. Now, we don't really mind a bit. Still, he can't be too obvious, which is why my pal always tries to look busy, even when he isn't, which again is quite often. So he has this little trick. He carries a clipboard with him. And since he's in tech, he often carries a pair of headphones with him too. Suddenly he's like Spielberg on a mission, even though his only mission is checking out interns or weaseling his way into concerts or events. And the dude gets in. No ID, just the clipboard and headphones. Everyone just assumes he's important, that he's getting something done because he looks busy. I think Washington uses a similar tack. Its idea of looking busy, though, is just spending. If you're spending on something, that's your clipboard. Then you're doing something. Look busy, keep spending. Busybodies all. Busying themselves in other people's business with their business and the people's money. Now, if they were my friend, it'd just make you laugh. After all, he's just looking for a date, and he will even pay. Washington just makes me cry because in the end, you know what? We're the ones who have to pay. But you know what? You're not alone. Glenn Beck is looking out for you. And in a rare treat, Glenn Beck and you are together now.
3, 2, 1, back.
Hello, America. They're waiting. I'm backstage right now at Fox. I'm getting ready to show you that you are not alone. This is your country. You're still in control, but it seems today like nobody gets it. You know, you've lived your life in a responsible way. You didn't take out a loan that didn't require any kind of proof of income, yet now you're being forced to bail those people out. You've been concerned about this country through the last administration and this administration. If you're like most people, both administrations, it's not about politics. You actually believe in something. And you thought for a while there your politicians did as well, and now you kind of realize, well, maybe they don't. When you come home after a hard day at work, all you want to do is put your feet up. All you want to do is just relax and just watch a little television, catch up with what's happening in the world. But every time you turn that television on, it just seems like the whole world is spinning out of control.
War. Islamic extremism. Europe on the brink. Even pirates now. Closer to home, Mexico isn't safe for vacations or our kids anymore. 6,000 were killed or beheaded on our border just last year. And Phoenix now has the second highest rate of kidnapping in the world. Our companies face new union mandates, a global cap and trade, and the second highest corporate tax rate in the world. All the while, politicians wonder why jobs are going overseas. And yet, on the other side, some global corporations only see America as a market and you as a consumer. Meanwhile, over 4 million friends and neighbors have lost their jobs in the last 4 months alone. Names that we always thought described American strength at stocks that are now worth less than a Frappuccino. And we're all told they're just too big to fail. Yet 70% of all jobs are created by the small businessman, and nobody seems to even notice him. What happened to the country that loved the underdog and stood up for the little guy? What happened to the voice of the forgotten man? USA! The forgotten man is you. The voice that no one seems to hear, just quietly saying, enforce the law. Take responsibility for yourself. You can't have it all. And anybody who promised you that was a liar.
The current economic downturn.
Worst economic crisis.
Worst month of job loss.
But something is happening in America. Paradigm's about to change. Your friends and neighbors, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they're all beginning to wake up and wonder, how did this happen to us? 19 men lay awake all night in preparation. On September 10th, Americans were playing politics, and they had chosen to bury their heads in the sand and ignore the coming threat. I remember how picture perfect the day was. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, and America seemed invincible. And yet, in the blink of an eye.
That airplane appeared to hit a little bit down the building around the 50th or 60th floor. Again, it struck flush.
The skies were filled with black clouds, and our hearts were full of terror and fear.
It's absolute disaster.
We realized for the first time how fragile we really were. Then, something happened. We came together, and we promised ourselves that we would never forget. On September 12th, and for a short time after that, we really promised ourselves that we would focus on the things that were important. Our family, our friends, the eternal principles that allowed America to become the world's beacon of freedom.
I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
So once again, America has a choice. Tonight, we can choose to be the Americans of September 10th with our heads buried in the sand. We could be the Americans of September 11th who were unprepared and then paralyzed by fear, despair, or anger. Or we could choose to renew the promise that we all made to ourselves. By the end of this hour, you will be asked once again, choose. Will you commit yourself to really live America's time-tested values and principles? Will you, with fierce determination and malice towards none, be a watchman at the gate to alert those still asleep to rise up and be America's next greatest generation? You know, many in Washington, left and right, want to convince you that they're the solution. I happen to believe that them being the solution is the problem. The system has been perverted and it has to be restored. Those who screwed up must be allowed to fail. Those who broke the law must go to jail. And those who have played by the rules need to be left alone to rebuild our nation. The answers have never come from Washington. We weren't told how to behave that day after 9/11. We just knew it was right. It was the opposite of what we feel today. Let us find ourselves and our solutions together again with the 9 founding principles and the 12 eternal values. This is the 9/12 Project.